Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Thomas Taylor, and I've wanted to talk about him and the rest of the other Harry Potter illustrators for the UK for a long time, so take this as like a part one. I'll probably do a part two about the other illustrators. This book that's just come out, the 25th anniversary edition, but it's illustrated by Thomas Taylor. Thomas Taylor was the first illustrator of any Harry Potter book in the world, period, which is an amazing feat, but I feel like he got a little bit shafted. I don't know if this is true, and he doesn't seem bitter at all because he's had a successful career and he's writing children's books. It's all good and it all worked out in the end. But to say that he illustrated the very first ever Harry Potter children's book, I feel like it's a little bit overlooked. But let's go ahead and talk about the book first. I just want to open it up and show you what is inside. So it's really nice to get a hardcover of this because I feel like a lot of them are really expensive. You can see in the back I put my 25th sticker in the back because I didn't want it on the front cover. This book makes me feel so nostalgic. What I love most about this is it's got illustrations from J.K. Rowling. You can see we've got Peeves there in the front. These are illustrations that I've seen on a few different documentaries where she's talked about writing the book in the early days, and she drew all the characters herself, and she's actually really good at drawing. I know she's got illustrations in the Beedle the Bard book, but it's the first time these have been printed in the actual book, and I would have liked to have seen more because I know for a fact there is more, which I've seen on documentaries. So we have Hagrid and Dumbledore and Privet Drive, and then the really cool one of Diagon Alley, which is one that she lost before they made the film, and she said that she remembered Chris Columbus was asking her how the entrance to Diagon Alley happened, and she couldn't find this illustration. But in the documentary I'm referring to, I think it's on YouTube, I'll link it below, she talks about how she had this, well, she shows this illustration itself, so it's nice to see it in the front cover. I wish there was more illustrations in there. I feel like it's more or less the same, except for each chapter has a load of stars, and I can't remember that being the case in the first editions or the earlier original editions of this book. But the main addition to make this more special is the back. I think for the price point, to be honest, they could have packed in a little bit more. We've got all these little bits of notes and memorabilia in the back, clipping newspaper, clipping things of letters, and an illustration of Hogwarts, which was drawn by Levy Pinfold, who I don't know who that is. I should have really googled who that was before I started filming. But okay, so at the end there is an interview with Thomas Taylor, and it includes the very infamous picture of the unknown wizard. I remember when I was little, having finished Harry Potter, I had the edition that had Dumbledore on the back, which was like this. But I do remember the original edition in school, and I remember looking at it and thinking, who is this? And I asked people, and I think somebody said it was Dumbledore, and nobody knew. Obviously it was a whole thing, nobody knew. He talks about his experience illustrating the book, the first book in the back, which, to summarize, I did actually read a little bit of this in the 2021 Writers and Artists Yearbook, because there was a really nice article, which I think was longer than the attached article in the Harry Potter one, from Thomas Taylor talking about illustration, giving general illustration tips. If you don't know about this book, you should get it if you want to get into children's books. It's really helpful. Thomas Taylor, this was his first ever illustration job straight out of art school, and he was 23 years old, and this was in 1996. So as it was his first job, they gave him quite a lot of direction and didn't give him room to, I guess, experiment, which I think that's the general way it works in the industry. When you're starting off, you have less control, but when you're more established, you get to call the shots. I guess that's the same in any industry. He was told to draw Harry Potter had to be on the front cover, and he had to have the Hogwarts train on the front cover as well, but then they tried to figure out how to have him kind of facing the train but facing the viewer without having the back of his head. They came to this nice little compromise, and I do love the illustration. He's really talented, and I especially love this Dumbledore. And as he was asked to do this Dumbledore years later, it makes me wonder what the other books would have looked like if they would have let him continue illustrating. It just really frustrates me. Anyway, getting back to the other wizard. So originally he was told to do the front cover, Harry and the train, and on the back cover, because it was an unknown book, And because nobody really cared, they told him just to do any wizard. Just draw a wizard. Any wizard will do. So he did, and he drew it based on his father. Obviously, the book blew up, and it started gaining huge traction. And I think by the time the second book came out, people were speculating who this wizard was, and they thought it was like a spoiler or a hint to a future book in the series, because around this time she was doing interviews and talking about how she'd planned out 7 books and there was definitely going to be more. And I guess back in those days, it was just the internet wasn't really a thing. It wasn't as easy just to come out and say, oh, by the way, guys, I did this. So for a long time, it was very much confusion. I think still might cause a bit of confusion, but I feel like a lot of people have forgot about the first edition wizard, because after so much, I guess, controversy was caused out of it, he was asked to go back and draw Dumbledore and did an amazing job. When I think of Dumbledore, I always think of this Dumbledore. I just think he is like this book is just so nice, and I think it captures the tone of the Harry Potter books so well. And it's such a damn shame that he didn't get to continue it, because as the books got more famous, they decided to take him off of it and said that they would like to go with a more established artist, which I kind of understand, but if he was good enough for the first book and it was clearly selling, why not let him do the next books? But then also I feel like this book series was kind of cursed with the UK illustrators, because nobody stayed on it for too long, and then it kept getting passed on and passed on. It's just frustrating the way the industry works, and it felt it's just very like disposable. As I said, he doesn't seem upset about it, and he's done really, really well for himself, but for some reason it just like really winds me up. I've been in positions where I've been like done a lot of hard work and then just been dismissed before, so I could understand working on the one of the most famous children's books in the whole world. You get to illustrate it the first time, and your illustration is everywhere, and then you just get taken off the book. I don't know. But yes, so now he did do illustration for a while. He moved on to picture books, and then he has ended up doing a book series of his own, Irion C Series, and I believe there's going to be 5 of these books. At the time of this recording, only 3 have come out. I love the way these books look. Ironically, he's not illustrated his own book. But that's something that he talked about in this longer article in the 2021 version, about how much work is involved in writing, editing, like in traditional publishing especially. There's just a lot of work to do, and he wanted to illustrate it himself originally. He was going to, because he is an illustrator, and then he decided to pass on the reins to someone else, which he's said that he was pleased with, and it's worked out really well for him, which I completely understand. And I think it's cool that he's just like is in a place where he can let someone else do that. Talking like it's a really serious thing. But I'm really pleased with how far he's come. I would love to live in the alternate universe where he finished the whole of the other book. I just think his original artwork matches kind of the same tone, but is slightly different to Mary Grand Prix, who did the American books. What really irks me about this situation as well is that every other country got there later than us, because obviously it originated in the UK. So every other country had time to pick a certain illustrator, established or whatever, and have them work on the whole set of 7. And you can see with Mary's work, she did it really beautifully. And at the moment we've got Jim Kay doing it for the UK, and the 5th one will be out in this October, the time of this recording. There's just been so many other artists that have worked on Harry Potter that have seen it from start to finish, and it's been a complete set, and they just look really nice. And it just really frustrates me the Harry Potter UK editions have 4 different artists working on them. Anyway, I'm going to get onto that in the next video. Yes, I think this is a good edition. It's nice to have that little bit of nostalgia. I've still got the original Harry Potter books at my dad's house, and I'll get my hands on them at some point. I think I've still got them. But it was just nice to have this as a little addition to myself. At the moment, I'm currently collecting all of Jim Kay's books. I might do a video on that as well. Yeah, there's my review. To summarise, Thomas Taylor got shafted, and it's nice that he's getting a little bit of attention right now. I feel like it's not enough attention, but it's nice. At least people are recognising his work. So I think that reason alone is probably is worth 20 quid to buy it. Not that he's getting, I doubt that he's getting residuals or like any sort of compensation. I don't know. That's another thing that irks me. Like, I'd love to find out, because that book sold millions, And to think, like, I've done deals, I've done children's book, and I've not got any back end royalties. So, and when you're starting out as an illustrator, when you've got your first few jobs, you just think, okay, like, use me. I don't care about royalties. I just want the exposure. And I doubt he would have got a good deal with it being his first book, and then they like got rid of him straight away. So frustrating. Anyway, if you like this video, I do more on illustration, drawing, all things to do with that. So like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.